Hi everybody, this is Dr. Doreste with the cranial release technique, back with another video. Something a little different. I've been receiving quite a few questions and I took the 3 questions that I had the most requests for and I want to address those right now. And the first one is, how was the master review and will you be doing another one? And again, some of these questions came in from my existing CRT practitioners, some came in from patients, some came in from maybe practitioners thinking about learning cranial release. I hadn't done a live event in probably 5 years, and I felt there was a need for it, especially a lot of the people that are learning now with the online training. A lot of them are requesting a hands-on live event. So that's why we did that one on December 2nd in Fort Lauderdale, and I thought it went very well. And it was mixed. It was about half the people that had done the online training and about half the people that had taken the live event years ago. And I was pleasantly surprised to watch the people that did the online event that had never attended a live class, and their technique was very good. Was there room for improvement? Sure, there's room for improvement in everybody. So I'm glad we got together. I'm glad we did it. I thought it went very well. Will I be doing another one? I guess it depends on the demand. If there's enough demand, I'm happy to do one. I guess if you're interested in me coming to do one, then maybe in the comments put down where you'd like me to attend and we can see if we can work it out. Again, I don't mind doing it as long as there's enough demand, as long as there's enough people that are really interested in coming to that. And again, that would only be open to people that have either taken the live event years ago or that have now taken the online training, which you can find at cranialrelease.com. There's a button there called online training, and you can learn everything there is to know, including how to do it, the cranial release technique, how to actually apply it, how to explain it, what testing protocols do we like to do. And that brings up another question that I was going to cover, but I might as well cover it now. Regardless of what type of practitioner you are right now, and regardless of what type of technique you use right now, if you do some sort of pre and post test, that works great with cranial release, whether you like to do a leg length check, a muscle test, a reflexes of some sort, postural analysis, cranial analysis, motion palpation, static palpation, whatever technique, whatever testing protocol you like, whatever you use every day, is certainly valid with cranial release. So you could do your muscle testing, apply the cranial release technique, and I would expect to see improvement. I always expect to see improvement with the proper application of the cranial release technique. So again, all the details for the training program are on the website at cranialrelease.com. Someone else asked me, what is the primary respiratory mechanism and what's the significance of it? So that really brings us back to the origins of all cranial work, which was over 100 years ago discovered by Dr. William Sutherland. Let me just straighten this camera out a bit here. There we go. And Dr. Sutherland was the one, of course, that looked at the cranium, the skull, looked at the separate bones, and asked that million-dollar question, which was, why do these bones stay separate? Why don't they fuse into one large bone? And of course, no one had an answer to that. And he talks about in his own writings, his own discovery of it, is that how he was thinking about this idea, why separate bones, why these 22 separate bones, couldn't let go of that. As he described it in his own writing, sort of in a half awake, half asleep state, sees a fish swimming. Remember, this is over 100 years ago. Sees the gills of the fish opening and closing, and said to himself, I wonder if those bones are designed that way and that they never fuse. I wonder if that's because they need to move. And that was the real beginnings of what then he termed the primary respiratory mechanism. Primary, he said, because it comes first. Respiratory, because there's an inhalation and an exhalation phase. Mechanism, because just like a Swiss watch, everything affects everything. Every moving part in the cranium affects every other moving part in the cranium. And every part of the cranium that moves affects everything else in the body. Everything is moving secondarily to this primary respiratory mechanism. And the more he thought that he could restore the maximum inhalation and exhalation of the primary respiratory mechanism, the better the body would function. It was structure determining function, except now the structure is a dynamic structure. And so that's where he came along and looked at the primary respiratory mechanism in the classical sense of osteopathy, of structure determining function. And in 2005, when I came along and started the cranial release technique, I just wanted to do the same thing that Dr. Sutherland was doing, but I wanted to make it simpler, easier. I guess it's kind of Sutherland 2.0 in some ways, in that it's a simpler, and to my mind, a more easy and more efficient way by using the patient's own intracranial forces. We're using the patient's primary respiratory mechanism in the world of cranial release. I'm using the patient's own intracranial forces, the ones that are performing the primary respiratory mechanism. I'm using that force from inside out to open the cranium. And that's what the technique is designed to do. It's using the patient's own internal cranial forces to open the cranium three-dimensionally, to maximize the inhalation, exhalation, to maximize structure and function throughout the body. That's what it's all about. And that fits into any type of practice. And that fits into, in my opinion, any type of health challenge that you're having. So regardless of what your health challenge is right now, you'd be better off with a proper functioning or a better functioning or a improved primary respiratory mechanism. That's why, to me, everyone benefits from the cranial release technique, regardless of what it is that you're suffering with. Regardless. And regardless of what type of practitioner you are. So now I'm talking to the practitioners, the chiropractors, the massage therapists, the acupuncturists, the dentist, the medical doctor, the naturopath, the physical therapist, the occupational therapist. Whatever it is that you do, if you're putting your hands on patients, your results would be improved with the addition of the cranial release technique to open the cranium and enhance central nervous system function, enhancing the brain's ability to control the body. I mean, that's really what it is. So I think I answered the question. The significance of the primary respiratory mechanism is it's happening in all of us, and it should be maximized in all of us. And if you want it to be maximized, well, you need to get on the table and visit a practitioner that does the cranial release technique. I mean, that's about it. You know, I had some additional questions, but I think we're at 9.5 minutes here. You know, I think that's probably enough for today's video. I want you to really understand this concept. And the more that you understand it, whether you are a practitioner or a patient, the more you could then educate other people about it, so that more people will look to learn the cranial release technique if you're a practitioner, or look to receive the cranial release technique if you're a patient. And again, it's something that I do with my wife daily, not because I have a health challenge, but because I want to optimize function. If you're tired of the old model of, healthcare being really sickness care, and you're looking for wellness care, maintenance care, holistic care, whatever word you want to use, you really should look into the cranial release technique to learn it and use it if you're a practitioner, craniorelease.com. Or if you are a patient and would like to receive it, you can find a practitioner at craniorelease.com. All right? Great. This is Dr. Doreste with the cranial release technique, wishing you a wonderful holiday season. Look forward to talking to you again. All the details are there at craniorelease.com. Please feel free to like this video, share this video, subscribe to the channel so we can get this work out to more and more people so that we can just help more people. I mean, that's what it's all about. The reason why you and I, to the practitioners out there, the reason why we went to school and we spent all our time and all our money to learn our different profession was to help people. And that's what it's all about. And I just feel the best thing that I could do with a patient is put them on the table and do this thing called the cranial release technique. And if you're a practitioner and you learn the work, or if you're a patient, you get it on the table, I think you'll understand what I'm talking about. So, Dr. Doreste, wishing you all the best for 2024. Health, happiness, prosperity, love, family, all the good things. Wish you the best from my wife and I and everyone here at CRT. Be well. Happy New Year. Happy holidays. Talk to you soon. Adios, my friends. Goodbye.